Oh, no, I mean, look, I guess I could get into all of the ad hominem attacks, but I think New Zealanders are I think New Zealanders are pretty bloody sick of politicians just going at each other on a personal level. So let's just come back down to the facts. We live in the world that we want to change. Right now, a lot of the economic defaults are incredibly harmful to people and planet. There's huge amounts of hidden costs in our supply chains, whether it is in the form of putting pressure on wages or whether it is in desecrating our natural environment. The Greens have always been crystal clear that we want to change that economy. And I think New Zealanders can see that over the last 40 years of successive governments deciding to not invest in our public infrastructure and in our...
You know what it is? He's been talking to his PR people. And I think you know this if you have a look at the ACT YouTube channel. And he's been told, you know, they like butting in. They like it when you get in there a bit scrappy. The problem is he's not good at it. So he's been instructed by the PR people to push back, to butt in, to make light of, to make a note. And when he does it, he just looks like a dick. He's not good at doing it. So he's been told to do something for a political reason, and he's very bad at doing it. That's what I think we're looking at.
Services, but also to hand over the keys of our economy to large corporations and speculators, that hard-working New Zealanders are actually the ones being screwed over. And the Greens have been crystal clear and principled, evidence-based and fully costed in the policies that we have put forward, which has shown how we can transform this economy. We used to make things in this country, and we can do it again. We can invest in and create renewable distributed electricity. We can create tens of thousands of public houses, and we can reduce the cost of living, reduce our climate-changing emissions, and also increase New Zealanders' quality of life.
I think what New Zealanders are a little tired of is just one soundbite being ticked off after another. There's nothing in what she's just said that actually says, here is how we would do something practically to make sure it happens.
I've just told you through our budget and our fiscal strategy and our industrial strategy, which are all available in detail online.
Soundbites. I mean, what we practically
all of those lists of things, and I'm just fading him out because this is the point where we are not going to... Because basically he's coming out, and I do now want to get to the point where even the interviewer is basically like in BHN language saying, dude, shut the fuck up. Now, he doesn't use those words, but radio and perhaps mainstream media versions of that. So it won't happen straight away, but I've given us a bit of a wind up so you can see it, and then we'll show you a couple of examples of what he's doing.
Affect the environment, doesn't affect anyone else, they can just do it. Now, if you want to see more homes getting built, that's the kind of change you got to make. If you
I feel like we've been going 35 years on this one as well.
Easily, that's what you got to do. These are the practical things required.
I feel like we've been going 35 years on this
otherwise
one as well. I just want to pick up something.
I'd refer people back to the ACT Party's history and the inequality that ACT Party policy has created in this country.
David?
So there's the first time the reporter has come in and basically said, dude, you sound like you've been talking for 3 decades. And there's one more example of it as we wrap up the show, examples of David Seymour monopolising the time and stopping the conversation.
This is about trying to find a way.
This is about onshoring jobs. I'm interested
and keep our efforts on
this is about the onshoring the emissions
continuing. This is the choice, right? Chloe can talk about poverty or she can talk about climate, but you actually have to be sensible and practical to balance the two.
Yeah, I mean, we could do, if we wanted to address what David was talking about, something called carbon border adjustments, whereby we effectively price in that kind of carbon leakage, where it is effectively cheaper to produce other things offshore, but it ends up resulting in higher carbon kind of emissions leakage.
You're talking about a new tax on everything New Zealanders consume. So
I'm actually not, if I'm allowed to talk.
Half the time I get Chloe Swarbrick, who's worried about poverty, worried about the cost of living. Half the time I get Chloe, who wants to destroy the economy, rip up contracts and put new taxes on. I mean, you've got to choose.
Let's hear which one we've got today, shall we, David?
So I guess, do you want to ask a question of me, Garth? Because I can't quite recall where we were at before David jumped in.
I think we've got both, Chloe's.
Okay.
I think we've had plenty. Thank you very much, both.
And then that's the end of the interview. So, like the content of what Chloe was saying was great, right? There's no problems with that. The content of what Seymour was talking about was the talking points he was accusing Chloe of, but the tactic, and you saw even when Garth was right, he just kept talking and just kept monotone talking, didn't stop, didn't do anything. It's 2 weeks in a row It feels like a tactic. It's 2 weeks in a row.
It's 100% a tactic.
Yeah.
It's an American tactic. Like as much as David Seymour wants to go, I've got the better ideas in the marketplace. He doesn't want us to hear the other ideas in the marketplace. He wants to flood the zone with, as you said, his monotone babbling.
Yeah.
And my only advice to Chloe here is like, I know she's, David Seymour's got a little bit of a height advantage, but a little like just like in the throat.
But what about like you get one of those school compasses? Remember those school compasses? Because look, it stops at about his waist, just in the thigh, just down low, one in the thigh.
Just jab him.
Shut the.
Oh, I hope you're all right, David. Anyway, here's the Green Ministry of Works.